Have you ever wondered in the middle of the night, maybe after watching a spooky movie or hearing a weird noise downstairs, why the hair on the back of your neck suddenly stands up? You know that feeling. It starts as a tiny shiver down your spine, and before you know it, your skin looks like a plucked chicken. We usually say, "It gave me the chills," or "It sent a shiver through me." But this isn't just a figure of speech. It is a very real, very ancient biological reflex happening inside your body. If you've ever looked closely at your arm during a moment of intense fear or excitement, you'll see those tiny hairs rising up like they're being pulled by a secret magnet. And here's the creepy part. Your body still reacts this way even though the original reason for it mostly disappeared thousands of years ago. This phenomenon is what we call goosebumps, and it's an involuntary reaction to things like fear, cold, or even deep awe. The name actually comes from exactly what you think. When you pluck the feathers off a goose, its skin has these distinct little bumps where the feathers used to grow. Human skin does the exact same thing when we are startled. But why does our body go through all this trouble? Why does our hair need to stand at attention just because we heard a floorboard creak? To understand this, we have to look at our brain's survival mode, better known as the fight or flight response. When you experience a sudden jolt of fear, a tiny part of your brain called the amygdala, think of it as your body's smoke detector, sounds the alarm. It tells your glands to flood your system with adrenaline, the stress hormone. This hormone is like a shot of high-octane fuel. It makes your heart race, opens up your airways, and sharpens your senses. But adrenaline also does something very specific to your skin. It causes your micromuscles to contract. Every single hair on your body is attached to a tiny muscle called the erector pili. When the adrenaline hits, these tiny muscles pull tight, tugging the hair follicle straight up and causing the skin around it to bunch up into those famous little bumps. And your brain does all of this in a fraction of a second, before you even consciously realize you're scared. Now, you might be thinking, that's cool, but what's the point? Well, for our ancestors, this was a lifesaver. Think of it like a fleece blanket made of air. When hair stands up, it traps a layer of air right next to the skin, creating a barrier of insulation. This is why you get goosebumps when you're cold. Your body is trying to build a wall of heat to keep you warm. In fact, about 85% of your body heat is generated by muscle contractions, so those tiny muscles under your skin are actually working overtime to act as an internal heater. This is also why you might get them in the summer when you sweat. As the sweat evaporates, your body rapidly loses heat, triggering a quick shiver response to stabilize your temperature. But there's a second reason that's even more wild. Think about a cat when it sees a dog. It arches its back and its fur stands straight up. Why? To look bigger and scarier. Even though we don't have thick fur anymore, our bodies still try to use this ancient intimidation tactic. It's the same thing a porcupine does. When a porcupine feels threatened, its muscles contract, and those sharp quills stand up to tell predators, back off. We are essentially trying to puff up just like a porcupine or a grizzly bear, even if we only have a few tiny arm hairs to show for it. Which means every time you get goosebumps during fear, your body is briefly trying to transform you into a larger, more threatening animal. The most fascinating part is that goosebumps aren't just for fear or cold, they're for the feels, too. Have you ever felt your skin prickle while listening to a powerful speech or watching a beautiful scene in a movie? Scientists call this frisson. Because these moments are so emotionally intense, your brain releases a bit of adrenaline as a reaction to the emotional impact and sudden intensity of the experience. It's a sign that your nervous system has shifted into an unusually heightened state of emotional and sensory alertness. In his famous book, The Expression of the Emotions in Man and Animals, the legendary Charles Darwin actually explored how these reactions are shared across the animal kingdom. More recently, researchers like George A. Bubenik have studied how these chills are a window into how our brains process complex emotions. For the vast majority of us, goosebumps are just a sign of a healthy, reactive nervous system. However, in very rare cases, if someone gets them constantly without any trigger, it could be a sign of something like temporal lobe epilepsy, where the brain's electrical signals get a bit crossed. But don't worry, for 99% of us, it's just our inner caveman trying to keep us warm or make us look tough. I'm curious, what's the last thing that gave you absolute goosebumps? Was it a scary story, a specific song, or maybe a scene from a movie that just hit different? Now you know. Got more midnight questions? Drop them in the comments. Stay curious, and I'll see you in another Midnight Mystery.